Welcome to a conversation with John Maxwell. I'm Valerie Burton. I'm so excited about this conversation. Recently, we announced the release of John's newest book, How to Get a Return on Failure. And on social media, we invited his friends, his readers, to just ask, if you could ask John anything about failure, what would it be? And we got so many submissions. We have narrowed those down, and we're going to be asking John questions, and we're going to be hearing a great deal of wisdom. I think we are in store for some real excitement, and those questions are starting with one I'm going to ask you, John. I'm so excited about this book on the topic of failure, which is something a lot of people don't like to talk about at all. Sometimes we sweep them under the rug.
Always, almost.
Yeah. Why did you write this book on failure, and what do you want people to get from reading it?
Well, people don't like to talk about failure, as you said, Valerie, but when I think of people in failure, they look at it as a negative instead of a possible positive. And How to Get a Return on Failure helps people change their perspective, because you see, as you know, how we view things is how we do things. So when you think about how to get a return on failure, what I'm going to share in that book with people is to give them a new perspective about failure. And once their perspective changes, instead of being embarrassed by failure, they'll begin to embrace failure and make it a friend, not a foe, and it'll become an asset within their life. Wow. So when I wrote the book, I was so excited because I know that when they read it, their perspective is going to change. And then the return that they get out of it is going to be positive instead of negative.
Yeah, I can just imagine the person listening right now. He's like, is that really possible?
It's
and
possible.
It is. That's what you talk about in this book.
No question.
So let's jump in with our first question. Lynn, will you come on up? Let's give Lynn a good welcome.
Hi.
Hi there, Lynn.
Hi.
What is your question?
My question is, how do the principles in this book apply to both professional and personal failures?
Well, I think perspective crosses over from professional to personal. When a person changes their perspective about failure, then when they're in their professional life, they see it differently. And when they're in their personal life, they see it differently. And I think sometimes we try to pigeonhole phrases or words or ideas or thoughts instead of understanding that perspective changes everything. In fact, Lynn, if I had one conversation with you that I would consider to be important, it would be about your perspective and about my perspective and Valerie's perspective, because the moment we see things correctly, things come out correctly. If I don't see them correctly, then it's not going to be good. So when I wrote How to Get a Return on Failure, I realized that most people think of anything that associated with failure is going to be negative and hurtful and embarrassing. And I'm saying to them, no, that's not true. And I give examples throughout the book of how that perspective changes everything. It's a great question, Lynn, and I'm so glad you're with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lynn. You know, John, I think a lot of people look at personal and professional as completely separate. But I think what I'm hearing you say is it's a thread. What affects you personally also affects you professionally.
I have no idea why people pigeonhole perspective in one area and personal in the other. I have no idea what that, I mean, basically I'm John wherever I am.
Right.
I didn't know I was supposed to be someone else. So when we get that perspective right, it crosses over time.
Yeah. Well, Shane has joined us. Shane, what's your question?
What would you say to parents who are tempted to shield their kids from failure? And can you tell us how you have coached your children and grandchildren through difficult setbacks?
Well, now, Shane, I have no idea why you would ask a question. I mean, we were doing so well with me. And then you come into my life and talk about parenting. Well, first of all, everybody needs to be a parent because it's the most humbling part of a person's life.
Yes.
If you see a humble person, they've been a parent. And you know, the reason I'm so glad you brought that, really I am, that you brought it up, is this was a weakness for me. This, as a parent, if I would go back and say, what would be my biggest weakness as a parent? I tried to shield my children from failure. I tried to protect them. I tried to go in and get the answer for them. And I realized it a little bit late in my parenting life. And we had many conversations when my kids were teenagers about how I had a tendency to want to jump in and do the hard stuff for them and let them instead of letting them do the hard stuff. And I would say this for all parents. I didn't do it well when I was a young parent. I think it was a real weakness. But I did when I realized my miss. I sat down with him and I said, I can do better than this. But to do better than this is I'm going to have to give you ownership of a lot more things than I give you ownership of. It really worked well. And I'm so glad you asked the question because I think as parents, we all look back at our misses and our losses and what we could have done better. And I think it's important for us when we realize, like I did, that I didn't do that so well, that you just kind of admit it and make the adjustments, sit down with your children and then move forward. And I can promise you, once I let them kind of on the inside and said, hey, help me do better on that, they helped me also. So it was a real weakness. And now that I look back, I'm a grandparent and I'm an amazing grandparent. Oh my gosh. Because, your grandparenting gives you a chance to take all the things you messed up as a parent. You get a do-over. You know what I'm saying? And so, but with my grandchildren now, it's much, much easier for me to say, okay, this is your responsibility. Pick it up and, you can get back up. And I become a cheerleader, but I think that I've had that change in my life. And I think it's been very, very helpful. So for every one of us, that's why I wrote a book on failure, because the more we read in the proper perspective of failure, the better we'll do with ourselves, with our spouse, and with our children. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a good question, Shane.
Yeah. I got something I want to ask you, John, because I think, parenting is like our most important job if you're a parent, right? When you think about your legacy, when he asked that question, I'm thinking about the title, How to Get a Return on Failure.
Yes.
So as a parent, I think what I hear you say is when my kid fails, if I let them fail, the perspective shift is that there can be a return, like there can be a learning, a way that I'm growing them.
Oh, absolutely.
From the failure.
They have to experience failure. And then if they have the right perspective of it, it helps them make it a positive instead of a negative. But I didn't sometimes let them experience the failure because the return comes after the failure. And so it's how we adjust to that failure, how we kind of regroup ourselves and come back into the game. And that I just didn't do that as much as a parent. And I'm so glad you asked the question because I think sometimes when I hear, quote, experts, I get tired of hearing experts, because they're experts. You know what I'm saying? And there's no expert about me. I'm just a person that wanted to be a good parent to my children. And I'm just a friend to people to want to write a book on failure that will just help them do better with it. Mm-hmm. We all learn from our mistakes. This is my third book on failure. I think it's a spiritual gift.
I love it.
That was a great question, Shane. Thank you, sir.
Shane. Thank you.
John C. Maxwell says failure is like setting concrete. The longer you stay in it, the harder it is to get out. How to Get a Return on Failure gives you the framework to change that. And everyone who picks up a copy also receives the full audiobook in John's voice and 2 exclusive bonus teachings to help you go even deeper. Scan the QR code on your screen to get started.
So good. Our next question is from Tom.
Hi, John. How do we know when to give up or keep going when we experience failure?
Well, in my early days, I knew when to give up early. I mean, it's like, I'm out of here. What I really wanted to do with failure, Ton, is to leave the scene as quickly as I could. Mm-hmm. But here's what I learned. If you leave early, you don't learn. In fact, we all have a choice with failure. We either leave the scene quickly and, because I didn't do it, it's not my fault, blame someone else. Mm-hmm. And if I leave early, I don't learn. So over time, I said, what I need to do is stay with failure longer. The reason I left early was because I was embarrassed by it. I thought, oh my gosh, if I failed, they won't think I'm a good father. They won't think I'm a good leader. And what I didn't realize is the only way you can learn from failure is to embrace it. The only way that you can learn from failure is look at it as an asset, not a liability. And the moment my perspective again changed, I hung around. Mm-hmm. And here's what I know. If I leave the failure, I'll repeat it again. If I learn from the failure, I'll get better. So do I want to keep failing in the same area? Because we know people that do that. Or do I want to learn from it and improve my life? It's a great question.
Thank you so much, John.
Yeah.
So you said something there that really stood out to me. You said a lot of times I would leave early because I felt embarrassed. Like,
yes,
you start to see yourself failing. Let me get out because I'm embarrassed.
Sure.
How do you overcome that embarrassment? Because a lot of people feel that failure is embarrassing.
Well, yeah, I'm so glad you asked that, Valerie, because honestly, people take themselves way too
seriously.
Oh my gosh. If I could give advice to anybody, I would just look at him and say, my name is John. I'm your friend. Would you get over yourself? Because, hey, the rest of us have got over you. Yeah. It's like a person said, well, what will everybody think? I said, everybody's not watching you.
Right. They're not thinking about you.
I tell people all the time, I say, laugh at yourself. Everybody else is. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the issue when I got embarrassed is it was about me. Mm. And the day that I understand it's not about me.
Yeah.
Today's not about me. The book's not about me. It's about others. And the moment I get the right perspective again, then I can move forward. So now, instead of being embarrassed by it, I laugh at it. In fact, I sometimes point out because I think some of the things I've done have just been major fun and stupid. And it's it's fun to hang around with fun and stupid. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the moment we get comfortable with who we are, we could certainly get comfortable with the situation that we're in.
Yeah, you say it so well in the chapter that's titled, To Get Over Failure, Get Over Yourself.
Yeah, I got a whole chapter on it.
So blunt.
Yeah. And so, when you buy the book, listen, let me explain something. I know you don't need that chapter. But how many of you know somebody you got to get that book to? I mean, you got to buy a dozen of these books. Don't you have friends around you that says, Merry Christmas. Get over yourself.
Just highlight that chapter title, right?
That's exactly. Yeah, you got to put the folder down. Hey, put a paper clip in there. Put a star in there. You know, go immediately to chat. You know, here we go.
Oh, Bill is coming up next. Hey there, Bill.
John, why do so many people take failure personally as opposed to receiving it as feedback?
If I could see myself as a person that wants to make a difference in the lives of others, I would immediately change the perspective I have of me and who I am. There's a difference between success and significance, Bill. Success is about me. Significance is about others. I want everybody to do well in life. I hope you're successful. But there are only two stories that you can tell about your life. You can tell the story about yourself, or you can tell the story about what you did for others. Mm. When I write books, I remember my mentor, Les, when I asked him why he wrote books, he said, I want to extend my influence beyond my personal touch. And then he looked at me and said, John, when you write books to help people. And I think that once we have a perspective again, that we are our brother, our sister's keeper, and that we do best in life when we care for others and share with others and give to others and put them in a proper perspective of importance and value. I think then, Bill, what happens is we appreciate who we are and we value who we are, but we value people to the place that allows us to be comfortable to handle failure, to admit mistakes, to get back up, to dust ourselves off, because we're all human. Every one of us fall in the ditch. need to get out of it. When I wrote this book on how to get a return on failure, I made sure I told plenty of stories about my failures because they need to see that. I'm not an author expert. I'm a fellow traveler. I'm going through life just like you're going through life. I have hits and I have misses, good days and bad days. It does nobody good to talk about only good days. So many times on social media, I just look at that and I just say, dear God, is there anybody real here? And so this is a real book for real people who would like to overcome failure. It's a great question. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. So I noticed in the book, and I heard that the most quoted source, and you got a lot of sources in the book, but the most quoted is the Peanuts comic strip.
Good old Charlie.
Yes. So I'm just curious, how did a daily comic become one of your favorite sources of leadership wisdom?
Well, you know, Charlie Brown, he just never wins. I mean, he's never going to fly the kite. He's never going to kick the football. He's never going to get the redhead girl to go out with him on a date. And I kind of, when I looked at Charlie Brown, I thought, I think I may be Charlie Jr. And I think that one of the things that we miss is when people are open about their failures, it impacts our life. See, if you want to impress people, talk about how good you are. But if you want to impact people, talk about how human you are and your misses and your losses. That's what draws them to you, always.
Yeah, you know, I relate so much to that because when I first started writing, I didn't want to share the failures.
Sure.
And then felt, you can't write if you're not going to nobody wants to hear that. But I noticed, and I'm wondering how you feel about this, that it feels really huge, the idea of sharing a failure. But then for me, when I share it, people go, oh, you too, you're more real. They relate.
Totally. Yeah. The phrase that you just used, Valerie, you too.
Yeah.
That's a connecting phrase. We're supposed to connect with people, not correct people. And I'm living my life as a fellow traveler with everybody, with you. And I just think we do better when we're honest and authentic and real and can laugh with each other and pick each other up when we fall and, hey, applaud each other when we succeed. I think that's what life and relationships are all about.
Yeah, I hear something that I'm guessing a lot of people in the audience hear. When you say I'm a fellow traveler, I'm not an expert. A lot of us are sitting here going, no, John, you're an expert. Right?
No.
But in your mind, the way you are saying it is, I'm learning.
Oh,
I'm growing. I'm a fellow traveler and I'm sharing because I'm here to serve.
totally. You know, I'm not an expert. The more you know you don't know. And the more
Can you say that again?
Well, it's true, isn't it? The more you know you don't know. And let me say this. And the more you don't know, the more you need to know.
Yes.
Well, if you need to know more, you're not an expert.
Yeah.
I'm a learner.
Yeah.
I'm a grower. I'm still moving hopefully forward. And so, now I don't like titles at all. That's what I tell everybody. My name's John and I'm your friend. Somebody said, why do you do that? I said, because my name's John. I mean, am I a complicated person? I mean, I think I'm kind of simple. In fact, on my tombstone, I just hope they put his name's John. And he's your friend. No, bury me and go have some potato salad to eat.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm hearing the return comes largely from having humility.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Humility is the secret of learning.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I've never seen an arrogant person learn. They already know. Success is a lousy teacher. It makes people think they can't lose. We all lose. The issue is not, did I lose? The issue is, how did I handle my loss? That's what the book's all about.
Yeah. So good. Ben. Hi there.
Hi, Johnny. So my question is, when did you learn that a failure does not actually make you a failure?
Well, it took a while. I mean, I think the reason failure is a challenge is because I think all of us begin by saying, I failed, so therefore I must be a failure. You know, Ryan Leake, my good friend, says, failure is not a garment, so stop wearing it. And when I realized that failure doesn't define me, honestly, neither does success. What defines me is how I handle success. What defines me is how I handle failure. It's the adjustments I make after the difficult things happen or the good things happen that really determine and show people who I am. And so I think that as a young person, when I failed, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. And one day I began to understand that it's not also true that when I'm successful, that I'm a success. I think, really, Ben, that we should walk down the middle between the lines. Success is on one side, failure's on one side. When I'm over on that line of success, I'm not that good. When I'm over on the line of failure, I'm not that bad. Just stay in the middle. If you just stay in the middle, you have a little success, you have a little failure, but just walk between the lines. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, thank you for that, John. You know, one of the things I'm learning in this book is that what you're saying really is that it's a what, not a who. Failing is a what. It's an event.
Well, that's good. I
right?
like that. Why didn't you tell me when I was writing that book? I didn't put that in.
That's
all right, we're going to have to call the book back and have another chapter.
That's what I'm getting out of the book. It's a what, not a who.
Yeah, that's true. It's very
right. Yeah. All right, Tanita, come on up.
Hi, John. Hi, Valerie.
All right, Tanita, how are you?
Good. John, as a leader who's faced failure, how do I move forward when I don't feel fully confident leading my team?
Well, first of all, I'm so glad you asked that question because I think leadership's also misunderstood like failure. I think people will look at leadership and think that leaders always have confidence. I don't always have confidence. You know, when you lead, it's highly possible you're taking people where you've never been yourself. So therefore, I think good leaders ask themselves tough questions. And I think they have some times in their life where they're saying, I think this is the right decision, but I'm not certain. But it's my responsibility to move the people. Here's the issue. Leaders need to move people. So when I don't move them because I'm not certain, maybe not confident, I'm not leading them. So I think there are times when I've looked and said, I believe this is the right way. I'm going to do my best. And there have been times when it wasn't. And I backed up. I stopped, looked at people and I said, we're going to play U-turn today. You know? And, you know, it sure beats playing U-Haul. You don't understand. And you play U-Haul when you try to fake it till you make it. You're a U-Haul leader then. That's terrible. I'm a U-turn leader. I don't even think people want a perfect leader. I think they want an authentic one. I think they want an honest one. I think they want a real one. I think they want somebody to say, I'm sorry. I didn't do that really well. Can we put it a little bit in reverse? Can we pivot? Can we kind of move it in a little bit different direction? I don't think that bothers people at all. So confidence is very important, but confidence is a result, not of personal affirmation from others. That's why I say when you affirm people personally, you're not giving them confidence, especially if they go and they do it and it doesn't turn out well. Confidence is a result of doing things well. But confidence is also a result of being honest and taking things that didn't go well, pivoting, turning and going the right way. And then you learned from your mistakes. You learn from your missed turn. Then all of a sudden you say, I got that. Next time I come to that fork in the road, I'll take what I think is right. But if it's not, it's okay to back up and go the other way. Mm-hmm. People will forgive you as long as you know that you love them and they know that you love them and care for them. And I tell leaders, when you stop loving people, stop leading people.
Oh, that's good.
Because when you don't love people, you start leading them. Now you're manipulating. I mean, you're doing all kind of stuff that's not right. And so I really love the question because it's like somebody asked me the other day, he said, how does it feel to have everybody follow you? I said, I have no clue. I've not had everybody follow me. I mean, do you think everybody gets in line and says, you're amazing, Maxwell? No, there have been many people who looked at me and said, ooh, I don't want to follow you. So I think, again, we have to quit being so idealistic about leadership, so idealistic about success is always wonderful and failure is always bad. It's that perspective again, perspective of, I know who I am. And who I am is human. Which means I win some and I learn some. Because out of losing, if you learn, you don't lose. If you don't learn, you lose. I'm glad you asked that question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanita. Thank you so much. Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hi there. Hey, John, my team is hesitant to avoid risk because they're afraid to fail. How would you coach them to push through the fear to keep trying?
Well, I say get in the game. Somebody asked me the other day, he said, what's the most important action to take? And I said, any action. Could you just do something? If you're going to fail, fail on the ball field, not in the bleachers. Because I see so many people, they're having a beer and a hot dog, and they're telling people on the field how to play the game. And I want to say, why don't you go out there and get killed for a moment, okay?
Yeah.
And so again, we're okay. Now I'm on a roll. Now we're supposed to leave our footprints in the sands of time, not our butt prints in the sands. I think it is a worthy endeavor to get up. And I have a friend in college who said, I'm never down. His name was Brian. I said, Brian, what do you mean you're never down? He said, well, I'm either up or getting up.
Oh.
And that day, I was a junior in college. He taught me a great lesson. I'm either up
or getting up.
Because I can tell you, staying down is not going to make it for you. It's like, well, I'm waiting for the proper time, or I'm waiting till I'm ready. You see, what people don't understand is our actions can control our emotions. If your emotion controls your action, you're in trouble. In fact, I have a talk that I give sometimes called Action Attraction. And it's all about the fact that when you take action, you then begin to attract what you need in life. When I begin to move, I attract people to me that I need, opportunities to me that I didn't see. I begin to bring, it's the movement that begins to bring the things and the people necessary for me to succeed in life. And so I like trying. I've had many times I've tried and it didn't work out and I got back down, but I got back up. And so when a person says, I'll try, I then began to help them with perspective because let me explain this. This is good. You can either ask a question when you fail, can I, or how can I? And there's a big difference between can I. Can I has doubts. Can I is insecure. How can I now says, I'm going to get up. I'm going to move. I'm going to take action. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how I'm going to move. I'm not sure how I'm going to act. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I am going to take action. And I want to tell people the moment you move again, the things begin to move toward you and you get it. So my gosh, that was a great question.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for sharing.
That is a powerful coaching question because so often the doubt is in the can I, and the refrain is, I can't, maybe I can't. And so shifting to how.
Just put how in front.
Yeah.
It's can I with a how in front of it.
Yeah.
How because the how says I'm committed.
Yeah.
Can I doesn't say I'm committed at all. And so we get friendly with can I, because can I excuses us.
Yeah.
Can I allows me to wait longer than I should wait. Well, can I? I don't know if I can. But when you put how in front of it, what you're saying is, I still don't have my answer of how to do it, but I do have the answer that I'm going to do something. And doing something helps you to know how to do it. The doing brings you to the how.
Yeah.
Always does.
So both Tanita and Michael were asking questions from a leadership perspective.
They were.
And I heard what you were saying to them. I'm wondering, for a leader, as a part of their getting return on failure, making sure that they're inspiring, like as they're learning, that they're sharing, maybe even asking the team, how can we succeed? What is the leader's responsibility to also be helping the team see how to get the return on?
Well, I think when I was a young leader, one of the biggest mistakes I made, Valerie, is I was Mr. Answer Man. I would look at my team and in fact, I thought if I didn't have answers, I probably wasn't a good leader. So I would walk in the room with direction instead of questions. And the day that I quit giving direction and went to my team and said, let's figure this out together. How do you think is the best way to do it? Because what I learned is that once you collaborate and have the perspective of others, it now gives you a much more mature answer.
Yeah.
Shared thinking is so important. In fact, I tell people, shared thinking and sustained thinking are so essential to your success in life. Here's what I know. You let me walk into a room, Valerie, with people like you, and we got a half a dozen around the table, and I share with them a challenge, a problem, something that's in front of us, and say, let's talk about it. How do you think is the best way for us to approach this? I will promise you, because I've done this thousands of times, whenever I go into a room with good people and I share with them what the issue is, the problem, the need, they always give me a better answer than what I had when I came in by myself every time. In fact, you know what's humbling? To spend about a month trying to figure it out. And then you go into the room and you throw it out, and somebody in the first 2 minutes spouts out a better answer than you. That's so, you just sit there like, gosh, why didn't I come
Why didn't I do it earlier?
Why did I do it? And in fact, that's how I made my change. When I started sharing and learning that more people, really, it's like Ken Blanchard said. He said one time, I think, some of my best thinking has been done by others. And you know what? That's very true in my life.
Yeah.
Some of my best thinking has been done by other experiences and other people. In fact, again, the book, How to Get a Return on Failure, it's a book of others. I didn't learn all these things by myself. I learned all these things because other people showed me the way or taught me the way or helped explain the way to me. So I think that it's a big miss. It's a big miss, when we try to pull that weight all by ourselves.
John C. Maxwell says failure is like setting concrete. The longer you stay in it, the harder it is to get out. How to Get a Return on Failure gives you the framework to change that. And everyone who picks up a copy also receives the full audiobook in John's voice and 2 exclusive bonus teachings to help you go even deeper. Scan the QR code on your screen to get started.
So I'm amazed. You turned 79 recently. 79. So inspiring to watch how you go and you continue to inspire and you have not slowed down.
When you slow down, you can die.
Producing more books.
Have you heard the country song, Don't Let the Old Man In? I try not to let the old man in. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, you're still producing powerful, transformative books.
Doing my best.
And we know more are coming.
14.
14 more.
Yeah, I have a list of 14. They're in the book line. And in fact, they're really starting to bug me a little bit because all the books are saying, write me next. And
wow. They're vying for your attention.
Well, they're pushing the others out of the line. And I keep telling my book line, behave. But what's happening, I know what, they're more panicked now because they see how old I am. And they're saying, they're looking at me and said, he's going to die before he gets to me. He's going to die. So, yeah, in fact, I've got such a wonderful writing team, and I've really got, and I want to, and I think I can. I need to up it. I need to do a minimum of 2 books a year for the next 5 or 6 years to catch up. The problem with my book line is, and I don't know what happens, but every time I write a couple books, a couple more ideas get in line. And I don't know if they're out there having babies. I don't know what they're doing. In fact, they're doing something out there. You know what I mean? Because so I put a couple, I say, okay, and you look and you think the line's going to shorten, and all of a sudden there's 3 more ideas that come up. And you say, oh my gosh. In fact, I was talking to God about it the other day.
What did he say?
Well,
we all want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, John. What did God say?
He told me to be more like you. That's what he told me. He said, can't you be like Valerie? My gosh, I mean, you're the best. I just love you. It's value.
I love you too, John.
I appreciate you so much. But I was just talking to him about, with that many books in the line, he's got to let me hang, a little longer. And so I wasn't trying to do a deal.
Kind of sounds like a little negotiation.
Well, you know what? I shouldn't have said that because I was trying to do a deal. I'm still, now that I think about it, I was negotiating one night.
That's another book idea. How to negotiate with God.
Hey, and when I get ready to write that lightning on that, I'll be wiped out. They said, oh, he shouldn't have written that book. Oh my gosh, that's so
Okay, there is another question. So you just had your 79th birthday.
I did.
Does failure still have something to teach you?
Oh, totally. Let me say this. Everybody has something to teach me.
Wow.
I mean, if I could go through this room today with all these beautiful people and have a 15, 20-minute conversation, every person in this room could help me. Every person can teach me something. And I have this incredible appetite to learn. And so that's why whenever I'm with anybody, first thing I do is I sit down and, okay, how you doing? Kids okay? Okay, could I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Because it's through asking questions that I learn. And so everybody has something to teach me. Every experience has something to teach me. Every important thought, subject in life has something to teach me. I don't have a finish line at all in my life. I don't even think there is a finish line. When people talk about a finish line, I want to walk into the life and say, my name's John, I'm your friend. And if you really have a self-imposed finish line, when you cross it, you're finished. What part of that don't we understand? But if you don't have a finish line, you keep moving, traveling, learning, loving, asking questions. I think we're supposed to die moving, not waiting. I want to live till I die and not get the two confused. And so, yes, I'm 79, going to be 80 next year.
Yes.
People say, well, do you want to go back? I don't want to go back. And people say, well, why don't you want to go back? And it's like, because I'm a go back, I'd probably screw it up,
You've done pretty well.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think that every age has its value.
Yes.
And I think a mistake we make is getting what I call destination disease. You know, thinking that if I get there, I'll get happy. I want to tell you, if you can't be happy where you are, you're not going to be happy where you're going.
Where you're going.
Yeah. No matter where you are, there you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
What part of that don't we understand? So every age has its, has its ups, its benefits, and then it has its liabilities. But at this age, what I love about it the most is that I do feel that consistency compounds, and I do feel that I've stored up a lot of thinking and wisdom. And so at this age, I have a greater passion to get it out to people than I did at any other age, because I just think I've got some things to share with people I love that will help them. At least I hope so.
Well, there's no hoping to it.
Yeah.
You have helped us tremendously. You know, my biggest takeaway from this conversation is two. One is that you use the power of positive emotion to pull you forward. I hear a lot of anticipation.
Totally.
I've got a list of books. I have, celebrations I'm looking forward to, people I'm spending time with, and that just keeps you going.
No, hold your thought, because that's very true. Because people tell me all that. I mean, I get up 4:30 every morning and start writing. And people say, "You're just so disciplined." I said, no. If I was disciplined, I wouldn't have this body. I mean, think about it. No. I get up at 4:30 in the morning because I'm filled with anticipation. My life is filled. I get up in the morning and I say, I'm about to do something that's going to help somebody, that's going to make a difference. I wouldn't get up early for myself, but I will get up early for you.
Wow. So I'm hearing the learning that getting a return on failure is the way that you grow.
Oh, totally.
Into your potential, that you shift your perspective.
Totally.
Failure's not failure. Failure is how I grow. It's how I learn. It's how I keep going. It's the only way to be successful, because I'm not going to be able to succeed the first time in everything.
So true.
And that when that learning drives us, we're not afraid of the failure.
That's exactly right. In fact, what I tell people all the time is, because I learn from failure, I get a return from failure.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more in love with learning than I am with failure. But I understand failure is a catalyst for learning.
Yes.
And so because it is, I can embrace failure in my life and say, even at times, I really don't like this. But man, am I going to learn from this? Some of the things I've learned the most from are things that I didn't like at all. So when people say, well, I don't want to do it because I don't like it, I look at them and say, well, you got other issues in your life beside that. Because failure is the catalyst, if you have the right perspective, to growing and learning. If you have the wrong perspective, it'll bury you. So failure is just failure. How I adjust to that failure determines whether I have a good miss or a bad miss. And that there's a difference even between misses. I've got a whole chapter on learning the difference between a good miss and a bad miss. I've got a chapter in that on how to keep failure and success together. This is a good book.
It's so good.
This is
so good. Good book. So good. How to get a return on failure. John, thank you for your humility and for your just heart of serving, learning, and then teaching once you learn. Was this not amazing? John, thank you. Thank you for the chance to sit here with you and do this.
Oh, I love you, Valerie. It's a joy.
You too. Thank you so very much. And thank you for joining us for a conversation with John Maxwell.
Thank you.
Failure is something every leader faces, but knowing what to do with it, that's what separates the ones who grow from the ones who stay stuck. How to Get a Return on Failure is John C. Maxwell's most recent and most personal exploration of a topic he has spent decades studying. Inside, you'll find a practical framework for turning your hardest moments into your greatest growth. Not someday, but right now. And because we want to make sure this message really lands, everyone who picks up a copy also receives the full audiobook experience in John's own voice. So you can take this wherever you go. Plus, 2 exclusive bonus teachings, 2 famous failures from the Bible, and 3 critical lessons on failure. These aren't extras. They're the tools that make sure what you read actually changes the way you lead. Scan the code on your screen to get your copy and everything that comes with it.